Sir, Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Today I want to touch upon two topics, sir. The big topics from last week. One, Hindus being violent or Hindus are violent. Two, the Agniveer controversy that's happening now. So my first question, we all heard Rahul Gandhi's speech in Parliament, and there was a perception being created that Hindus are violent. Why?
So that exactly is the attempt by the Congress and its ecosystem and the so-called secular, liberal, whatever they call themselves. This has happened before. That is why they created this Hindu terrorism, saffron terrorism. This is the pushback to those days when the Congress-led UPA was in power. They felt this is the way you can match BJP's reach or somehow try to cut its influence. Even on an issue like Ram Temple, it was a decision given by Supreme Court. Where the Supreme Court gave the verdict that the Ram Temple should be constructed in Ayodhya and the mosque should be relocated elsewhere. Initially, they welcomed the verdict. Then later, they were saying, no, this is not a correct verdict and this and that. Though Supreme Court took a holistic view, it was a unanimous decision. A decision by a bench which I also happened to have a judge who belonged to the minority community and Muslim community accepted. Finally, when the temple's Prana Pratishtha came, you saw that the whole subject being revived. So that brings us to the question. Now, the Congress feels that it can counter BJP because some people are advising the Congress that the only way to counter Hindutva is to debunk it. And the only way to do it is you debunk all those who are, proponents of Hindu thoughts or anything, you debunk them. So that we go back to the original secular thing where Hinduism or Hindu view of life or Hindu view of perception of life is treated as just one more perception. And they continuously argue all religions are same. The same commentary, they dare not do it to either Islam or Christianity or any other religion. They only reserve it for Hinduism. So constantly an attempt is made to mock the rituals or mock some tradition or use an aberration somewhere to point out that, look, this is the way whole thing is happening. And take the case of some fake Babas say that whole Hinduism are full of fake Babas. Generalization. Now, in that context, what I found is, initially Congress felt the way to counter the BJP on this would be you also start going to temples. So during election time, you saw that this thing was tried in 2019 also. So that is how BJP called them Chunavi Hindus. When there is election, you start going temples. That did not work for the Congress. So there have been people with the left view who have been telling Congress, look, if you have to fight BJP, you straight away fight at the root of it all. Attack the very ideas that are seen as Hindu. With that, you can get more and more, at least the middle classes, to convert to your side and say, look, this is the liberal way I think is that the same attempt was made by Rahul Gandhi. And in his style of speaking, he ended up actually saying that all Hindus are violent. Hindu Hinsa. When there was objection to his statement, then he said, no, I did not mean this. I meant the BJP RSS who project themselves as Hindu are violent and they are not Hindus. But the way he put it, it appeared like an afterthought, trying to defend what he have already said on the floor of the House. Now the question is, what is all that to do with you are talking about on a motion of thanks to address to the president, which is a customary thing at the start of a new house after elections. And every year, the first thing is the President's address. President's address itself is reflection of the government policies for the year ahead. Now, on that, you are bringing this to say that I condemn the proponents of Hinduism. So, proponents of Hinduism are equivalent to the BJP RSS. And they are violent and constantly brand them as violent. During UPA regime, Congress wanted to bring an anti-communal rights prevention bill. And that bill itself was framed in such a way that perpetrators of crime, the communal crime, could only be Hindus. The law was framed such a way the onus would be on the Hindus. That all communal rights are only started by, this is the Congress approach. Because of objection by the BJP and legal infirmities in that communal rights bill, that was given up. Because you cannot have a bill saying that where you assume that the victims are always minorities and the perpetrators are majority. So coming back to Rahul's comment, sir, and you saw Prime Minister immediately intervening and saying, look, you cannot brandish all the entire community. There may be incidents here and there. And there are incidents happening in Kashmir and other places where the perpetrators happen to belong to a religion which we consider as minority, but it may be majority in that state. And the victim could belong to a majority. So the whole idea, this majorityism, minorityism, and then and constantly show yourself as a liberal, liberal Hindu. Just as people say, there cannot be a liberal and anybody who is supporting Islamist views.
But I have another question here. On one side, Rahul claims that Hindus are violent, but on the other side, he brings in the poster of Mahadev, right? And then he uses it for everything, including the next question that I have for Agniveer. Why is he doing that?
Sir, he wants to constantly show that he is a believer in this, that he is a believer in Shiva, and then whatever information he has gathered, whoever has fed him about Shiva or whatever about Hindu gods, and he wants to show that that he is actually a believer in Hinduism. So what he says has to be given more weight than either BJP or anyone speaking on behalf of the Hindu interests. You remember when he started that Bharat Jodo Yatra from Kanyakumari, he met one Christian
Pastor,
and the pastor who is known for deriding Hinduism. And he sat before him, and the pastor tried to explain that the Christian concept of God is different from the Hindu concept of gods. You may say Shiva, Parvati, no, they are not gods. Only our God, that is the Christian view of the God, Father, Heaven, the messenger of God, all that Son of God, that is what is the thing. And Rahul Gandhi sat there, was nodding his head, which means the father was exactly telling him what he does, and he's a controversial padri who has been speaking in that way. Basically, sir, every conversion requires what? Because people are saying that the Supreme Court, the Constitution allows right to propagation. Right to propagation doesn't allow you practices right to conversion through using all deceitful means. Sir, when I have to convert you to a particular religion, invariably I have to deride the religion to which you belong. I have to say, no, your thing, your gods are not good, your social system is not good, this is not good, ours is better. Then lure the people, if they can be lured with some kind of monetary considerations or something, you lure them and say, look, this is what our faith can give you, our churches can do you, our organization can do you. This is happening. Rahul Gandhi doesn't have a word to say on many things happening in other parts of the country. He thought he will deride the mandate that the NDA got. BJP still got 245, more than Congress has ever got the last more than 10 years. And even when they formed the UPA government, they had only 145. First time UPA won. Second time they got 200 something. Nowhere near this figure of what BJP has today. But Rahul Gandhi has blundered because the way he spoke, that shows you want to show that you have great regards for Hindu beliefs and traditions and all that. But there is a sense of mockery in what you say. The Prime Minister was cooked enough to point out. And I think Rahul Gandhi has made a mistake because this is going to cost him politically. BJP will not let it go like that, no matter what clarification. Because there are some apologists for Rahul who are saying, no, he did not mean that. What he said was, he was only derided that BJP and RSS are not Hindus. They can't speak for Hindus. Now the question is, why is Rahul Gandhi assigning himself the role of deciding who is the right Hindu, who is not a right Hindu, who is the correct Hindu, who is not a correct Hindu? Because that is not essential to the politics that he is pursuing or to the criticism that he wants to levy on the BJP or the government or whatever.
Okay, we'll wait and watch how this unfolds in the next few months or years. But moving on to my next topic, yet another Agniveer controversy. Why is the opposition so determined to oppose Agniveer?
Because they feel that in this campaign, particularly in states like Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, of course, Madhya Pradesh did not bring any electoral dividend, but particularly Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, they feel that this recruitment for the army under the new scheme and on a 4-year contract has created disaffection among youths. Rather, the opposition has playing it up this issue so that this issue will remain alive in Haryana elections. Because Haryana, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, these are the states where there is a lot of recruitment into the defense forces, particularly at the Jawan level. So Congress wants to keep this controversy alive, and in the Lok Sabha election, they made a big issue out of it, saying that the Agniveers are not getting fair treatment. So Rahul Gandhi, he said, if we come, we'll scrap it, etc., etc. But making an issue out of that, making a political issue out of that, which the government, the Prime Minister have said, this is not correct. Why the scheme was brought in, because it was always thought of that we need to have much younger forces. This is the scheme followed by Israel, America, China, Russia. You have more younger people at the soldier level. And many people do not want to serve in the army for more than 4 years also. And it was said 25% will be observed. And rest among them, some people will be observed in the paramilitary forces like CASF and BSF, CRPF, other paramilitary forces, and others, because when they come out, they'll come with substantial money. Sir, if you join at 17 and you come out at 21 with lump sum amount of say 20-25 lakhs, you can think of something and they train you with lot of skills. Though we can question whether this, we can have a different view of the Agniveer scheme saying, does it need revision? Instead of keeping people for 4 years, you can keep them for 7 years. Straight away, they can be observed in the paramilitary forces without having to undergo again an examination, recruitment. Nobody is disputing the fact that Agniveer scheme is under review and it is being examined. Congress wants to keep this alive, but in doing so, they have not stuck to facts. Rahul Gandhi's first allegation that one of the victims was not paid compensation at all, that an Agniveer soldier who died in January has not received compensation at all. Now, he was immediately countered by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh in the floor of the House, saying what you say is totally untrue. 1 crore we have paid to that particular Agniveer you're talking. Then more details were provided, but they want to keep mentioning that. Now, today they have released a list of, say, I think 10 Agniveers who have died. Now, the father of the Agniveer, he has said, no, we have received the money. Almost, because the Home Minister said we have paid 1 crore of money. Yes, there are other issues, as to whether some more facilities which are extended to a normal Jawan is extended to Agniveer. That's an open thing. But the package is that if they die in a military activity, they are paid the same level of compensation as the soldier. Point is, nobody is questioning the right of Rahul Gandhi to raise issues of public importance or national importance. Take it up with the government. Instead of that, what we are seeing, as Prime Minister said in Parliament just a few days ago, an attempt is being made to create disaffection among youth. Somehow you want to start agitation and see that this government is not allowed to stabilize. Because the opposition leaders have been saying every day that this government, today Lalu Prasad Yadav says that this government will fall in 3 months. And Rahul is also saying, no, this government is not going to continue, it will fall. Though we cannot see a political logic or a political arithmetic to justify this view that this government will fall. Because if this government falls, there cannot be an alternative government. Such is the arithmetic in the House.
But then there is another question that comes up here, which is, why is BJP not countering this, right, with full force?
No, sir, this impression has been dispelled with the Prime Minister's address in both the houses, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha when he replied to the debate. If you go through the debate and the way the Prime Minister has responded, that has brought back that, I would say, strength back to the NDA MPs. Because Prime Minister straight away accused the leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, of total lies. And some BJP MP, Bansuri Swaraj, daughter of the late Sushma Swaraj, she has filed a petition before the Speaker, seeking it's a breach of privilege. That you can't lie in Parliament. Whether this Agniveer being paid, there are other issues. Why Rahul has resorted to this? So Rahul is being challenged, and Speaker has made it clear that this will not, House will not be allowed to function like this. 5 years you can say whatever you want to say. Shoot and scoot approach is not going to be encouraged by the chair. Now they feel that opposition, Congress Party thinks that if you take up issues like, they want to get some sections of society which have been voting for BJP to turn against them. So youth is one of them. So straight away you can, create disaffection, create a problem. Agniveer was thought of like that. Now NEET also similar. Now government wants to return to conduct the NEET only under a foolproof system, so that there is no scope for any thing. But the opposition is making an issue out of it, saying you are delaying.
For NEET, we all know it started from Tamil Nadu where they were opposing NEET. Now it has kind of spread across most of the Indian states.
I see a frustration in opposition. You see, now when the results came, they felt that Modi has lost. But Modi has not lost. They got enough numbers, 240 on their own, and with other NDA allies. Pre-poll allies, they are 295. Now Congress to go on thinking, spreading the message, it is going to fall. That's not going to be easy.
That brings us to the end of our show, sir.
Thank you very much.